The year was 1945. World War II, the deadliest conflict in human history, had finally come to an end. Germany lay in ruins, its cities shattered. Germany was divided into 4 zones, each occupied by the United States, Great Britain, France, and the Soviet Union. Berlin, deep within the Soviet zone, was also divided. This division reflected growing tensions between the Western Allies and the Soviet Union. The wartime alliance was crumbling, replaced by suspicion and mistrust. The United States and its allies aimed to rebuild Germany as a democratic nation. The Soviet Union, led by Joseph Stalin, had a different vision. Stalin sought to expand Soviet influence, creating a buffer zone of communist states. Berlin became a microcosm of this emerging Cold War. The Western sectors represented freedom and democracy within Soviet-dominated East Germany. The Soviets viewed the Western presence as a threat. The stage was set for a confrontation that would shape the Cold War. Tensions escalated in the spring of 1948 when the Western Allies introduced a new currency, the Deutsche Mark, in their zones of occupied Germany, including West Berlin. The Soviets, fearing the economic impact of the new currency on their zone, responded with force. On June 24, 1948, Soviet forces blockaded all land and water access to West Berlin, cutting off the city's 2.5 million inhabitants from essential supplies of food, fuel, and medicine. The Berlin Blockade, as it became known, was a stark demonstration of Soviet power and a calculated gamble by Stalin. He believed that by starving the West Berliners into submission, he could force the Western Allies to abandon their outpost in the heart of Soviet-controlled territory. The Soviets miscalculated the resolve of the Western Allies, particularly that of the United States. President Harry S. Truman, facing a defining moment in his presidency, refused to abandon the people of West Berlin to their fate. The Truman administration, along with its British and French allies, faced a daunting challenge. West Berlin, heavily dependent on supplies from the West, had only enough food and fuel for a few weeks. Breaking the blockade militarily would risk igniting a wider war with the Soviet Union, a risk Truman was unwilling to take. Instead, a more audacious and improbable solution emerged, supplying West Berlin entirely by air. The Berlin Airlift, codenamed Operation Vittles by the Americans, was a logistical feat of unprecedented scale and complexity. On June 26, 1948, just 2 days after the blockade began, the first American and British cargo planes landed in West Berlin, carrying food, medicine, and other necessities. What began as a stopgap measure quickly transformed into a lifeline for the beleaguered city. Hundreds of planes, including American C-47 Skytrains and British Avro Yorks, took to the skies, forming a constant aerial bridge between West Germany and the beleaguered city. The planes, dubbed Raisin bombers by the grateful Berliners, followed strict flight paths and rigorous schedules, landing and taking off every few minutes at Tempelhof Airport in the American sector of Berlin. The airlift was a testament to the determination and ingenuity of the Western Allies. Pilots, ground crews, and support personnel worked tirelessly, often in grueling conditions, to maintain the flow of supplies to West Berlin. The success of the airlift depended not only on logistics, but also on the cooperation of the West Berliners themselves. Faced with food shortages and the ever-present threat of Soviet interference, the people of West Berlin displayed remarkable resilience and determination. They rationed their meager supplies, volunteered to help unload cargo planes, and kept their spirits up despite the hardships they faced. The Berlin Airlift was more than just a logistical operation. It was a testament to the enduring human spirit in the face of adversity. The Berlin Airlift was a collective effort, involving thousands of individuals who risked their lives to deliver hope to the besieged city. Among them were figures like General Lucius D. Clay, the American military governor of Germany, who played a pivotal role in organizing and implementing the airlift. Clay's unwavering determination and logistical brilliance were instrumental in sustaining the airlift in its crucial early months. Another hero of the airlift was Gale Halvorsen, a young American pilot who became known as the Candy Bomber. Halvorsen, touched by the plight of the children of West Berlin, began dropping small parachutes filled with candy and gum from his plane as he approached Tempelhof Airport. Halvorsen's act of kindness, which soon became a widespread practice among the airlift pilots, lifted the spirits of the Berliners, particularly the children, and became a symbol of hope amid the uncertainty of the blockade. The stories of Clay, Halvorsen, and countless other individuals who participated in the Berlin Airlift exemplify the courage, compassion, and unwavering commitment to freedom that defined this pivotal chapter in Cold War history. Their actions served as a beacon of hope, not only for the people of West Berlin but for people around the world yearning for freedom and democracy in the shadow of Soviet expansionism.